Alex had always been fascinated by the stars. Even as a child, he would lie awake at night staring at the sky, imagining what it would be like to travel beyond Earth. Now, years later, he had his chance. Humanity had begun exploring distant planets, and Alex was part of an expedition sent to a remote, uncharted world. The planet was covered in thick forests and mountains that seemed to touch the clouds. No human had ever set foot there. The landing had been rough. The small shuttle rattled as it pierced through the planet's atmosphere, but Alex felt a thrill he could not hide. He adjusted his helmet and looked out the window. Below, the jungle stretched endlessly. Towering trees with bright glowing leaves created a canopy that pulsed softly in the twilight. Strange birds flew in groups, their wings sparkling with colors he had never seen. The planet was alive in a way Earth never was. Alex's mission was simple: explore the area, collect data, and report anything unusual. But something in the jungle called to him, a feeling he could not explain. He stepped out of the shuttle and immediately felt the planet's energy. The air was thick but sweet, and every breath filled him with a strange excitement. His boots sank slightly into the soft, glowing moss, and he could hear the distant calls of creatures moving through the trees. As he moved deeper into the jungle, Alex noticed something unusual. The plants seemed to shift when he passed, almost as if they were watching him. He stopped, trying to shake off the feeling. "It's just my imagination," he whispered to himself. Yet the sense of being observed grew stronger. After hours of walking, he reached a clearing. In the center was a structure, unlike anything he had ever seen. It looked like a house, but taller, made of smooth crystal-like material that reflected the dim sunlight. Strange symbols glowed faintly along its walls. Alex approached carefully. His heart raced. This structure seemed alive, almost breathing. He reached the entrance and paused. That's when he heard it, a soft, trembling voice barely audible, repeating a name. "Alex! Alex!" Alex froze. The voice was human, yet it was not coming from any human he knew. His hand instinctively went to his communicator, but he saw no signal. The sound came from the structure itself. Heart pounding, he stepped closer. "Hello?" he called softly. "Is someone there?" The voice repeated again, louder this time. "Alex? Alex?" Alex's eyes widened. He had never heard an alien speak his name before. Curiosity overcame fear. He took a deep breath and entered the structure. Inside, the air was warm and glowing. Light danced along the walls in patterns he could not understand. And there, in the center, stood her. The alien woman was unlike anyone Alex had ever seen. She was tall, with smooth, luminous skin that seemed to change color with her emotions. Her eyes were large and glowing, reflecting a depth of feeling he could sense even from a distance. She had long hair that floated slightly as if in water. She seemed both strong and fragile at the same time. When she saw him, she gasped. "Alex?" she whispered, her voice shaking. Tears filled her eyes. "Alex?" "The one my mother used to say." Alex stepped forward slowly, careful not to frighten her. I'm Alex," he said gently. "I don't understand. Do we know each other?" She shook her head, tears streaming down her face. "No, not yet. But your name, it carries her memory, my mother. She used to say this name always, before she was gone." Alex felt a shiver run down his spine. He had traveled across the galaxy to study a new world, but now he realized he had stumbled into something far more personal and mysterious. "I'm here to help," he said softly. "I mean no harm." "Can you tell me your name?" "Ilara," she replied. I have waited a long time for someone with this name." Alex nodded slowly, sensing the weight of her words. There was something about this planet, about her, that was tied to history and memory in ways he could not yet understand. He noticed small artifacts around her, crystals that glowed softly, images that flickered with light like memories trapped in solid form. "Your world. Your people," Alex began. "Have you been alone here for a long time?" Ilara's lips trembled. "Yeah, for many generations. We hid after the war, after the sky burned. My mother, she told me stories. But I never imagined—" She stopped, looking at him as though seeing both a memory and a promise in his presence. Alex studied her carefully. He had seen many alien civilizations in his training, but none like this. Her emotions were raw, clear, and unguarded. Humans were known for their ability to feel deeply, to empathize, and to act courageously in ways many aliens could not. Now facing her, Alex understood how powerful that human quality could be. He had an idea that he could help her people, not through force but through understanding and trust. "I don't know why I'm here," Alex admitted. "But I think we can learn from each other." Elara's eyes brightened slightly, a spark of hope. She took a hesitant step toward him. You are brave. Like humans are supposed to be, my mother." She would have cried with joy if she saw you now. Alex smiled faintly. "I think she would have liked to meet you too." They stood in silence for a few moments, the only sound the gentle hum of the structure and the soft glow of the crystals. Then, without warning, the walls shifted slightly. The symbols glowed brighter, and a low, resonant hum filled the room. Alex instinctively reached out, touching one of the crystals. Images flickered across the walls, people, places, and moments from the past, memories of a time long before humans had even reached this star system. Elara gasped. These are our memories. My family, my people, you can see them too?" Alex nodded, fascinated. It's incredible. Your people have preserved history in a way I've never seen. I think we can help you protect this." Elara looked at him, tears still in her eyes, and whispered his name again. "Alex. Alex." It was a sound full of emotion, loss, hope, and longing. Alex realized then that his journey was no longer just exploration. It was a mission of connection, of understanding, and perhaps of healing. Somehow the simple repetition of his name had bridged the gap between species, between worlds, and even between the living and those who were gone. "Rest now," Elara said softly, almost to herself. Tomorrow we will talk more." Alex nodded. He could feel the weight of the day and the importance of what had begun. Humanity had arrived on this planet, but it was not conquest or science alone that mattered. It was the courage to reach out, to connect and to honor the past. As he settled down in the glowing structure, Alex realized that this first meeting would change both their lives forever. The alien woman had said his name with tears, but in that moment, it felt like a promise that humans could bring hope, understanding, and courage to even the most distant corners of the galaxy. And as night fell over the glowing jungle, Alex knew one thing for certain: this was only the beginning. The morning sun filtered softly through the crystal walls of Elara's sanctuary. Alex awoke to a gentle glow and the sound of distant birdsong, unlike any he had heard on Earth. The jungle outside seemed alive in a way that felt almost magical, with leaves shimmering in the light and small creatures darting between the glowing plants. Elara was already awake, standing near one of the glowing crystals. She turned when she saw him and smiled faintly, though her eyes still held traces of yesterday's tears. "Good morning, Alex," she said softly. Her voice carried a quiet strength now, tempered by emotion. "Good morning," Alex replied, stretching and rubbing the sleep from his eyes. "I hope I didn't wake you too early." No, you did not." "I could not sleep either," she said. She looked at him, studying him carefully. "Yesterday, you helped me in a way I cannot explain. You are human, yes, but stronger than I imagined." Alex felt a warmth spread through him. He had trained for countless challenges in space, but nothing compared to the feeling of trust and admiration reflected in her eyes. "I am human," he said, "but strength comes in many forms. Sometimes courage is quiet. Sometimes it comes from helping someone who has lost so much." Elara nodded. She led him to a small platform in the center of the sanctuary. On it were crystals arranged like a map, glowing softly. Each one showed a different image when touched. A memory, a scene from her past, or a glimpse of her people. Alex reached out and touched one. Instantly, the crystal displayed an image of a young girl playing under the sun with her mother. Elara's voice broke as she whispered, "That was me. And my mother." Before the war took everything, Alex looked closely. The mother's face was kind and loving, the girl laughing without a care. "She looks happy," he said softly. "You were happy too." Elara nodded, tears forming again. "Yes, we were. But everything changed. The sky burned and our people had to hide. We lost many, but I kept our memories alive." I whispered my mother's words every day. "And your name came to me somehow, like a thread connecting past and present." Alex tried to understand. Humans were resilient, yes, but the depth of emotion she carried was rare, even among humans. He realized that her people had survived because they were intelligent, but also because they held tightly to memory and hope. "You are strong, Elara," he said. Not just because of your abilities, but because you remember and care so deeply. Alara looked at him, her eyes wide. You understand. She stepped closer. I have not spoken of this to anyone. No one has ever stayed, no one like you. Alex felt a connection he had never experienced before. He knew he could not leave her alone, not while the jungle around them held dangers both known and unknown. I am here, he said simply. We will face this together. She smiled faintly, the first real smile since he had arrived. Together, she repeated, testing the word as if saying it out loud gave it power. They spent the next hours exploring the sanctuary. Alex noticed that every crystal had a memory trapped inside it, some joyful, some painful. Alara touched each one reverently, speaking softly as if the crystal could hear her words. This is my father. He taught me courage. This is my sister. She laughed too much. Each crystal reflected light that danced across the walls, painting the sanctuary in colors Alex could not name. Your people. They are remarkable, Alex said. They preserved history in a way no human technology could. Alara nodded, her eyes distant. We are careful. We do not let the world outside take what is precious. But now, with you here, I feel that maybe we do not need to hide forever. Alex's heart quickened. Humanity had often been seen as fragile by other civilizations, yet here he was, showing her that humans could be brave, empathetic, and trustworthy. Maybe, he said. Sometimes the world is less frightening when someone else is willing to stand with you. They moved outside after a while. The jungle seemed alive with energy. Alara led him along winding paths, pointing out plants that glowed with life, creatures that communicated with soft lights, and streams that reflected not only the sky but hidden memories of the land. Alex marveled at it all. This planet, it's more alive than Earth. Everything feels connected. Alara's eyes shone. It is. Our ancestors learned to listen to the planet, to honor its memory. That is why we survived. The land remembers just as we do. As they walked, they began talking about their lives, her people's history, Alex's training, and his journey from Earth to this distant world. They discovered a shared respect for courage, resilience, and the importance of memory. Each story, each word built a bridge between human and alien, past and present. Suddenly, a distant sound reached them, a low hum vibrating through the ground. Alex's senses went on alert. Did you hear that? He asked, looking around. Alara nodded. Yes, it is the forest, or something in it. Sometimes it calls to us. Sometimes it warns us. Alex knelt and listened carefully. The hum grew stronger, almost like a pulse vibrating through the roots of the trees. He felt a shiver of recognition. It's alive, he said softly. The forest itself is alive. It's watching. Alara nodded. Yes, the forest remembers too. Every step we take, every sound we make, it knows. That is why we are careful. Alex looked at her, understanding more about her people's caution and wisdom. I see now why your people stayed hidden, but I also see why it is time for change. Alara studied him, her expression thoughtful. Perhaps, with you, things could be different. You are human, yet you see the world as we do. You carry memory, courage, and empathy. That is rare. They spent the rest of the day moving through the jungle, discovering hidden groves and streams. Alex noticed small carvings in trees and rocks, symbols that told stories of battles, families, and lost moments. Alara explained each symbol carefully. These are our memories, our history. We do not forget even when the world is harsh. As night fell, they returned to the sanctuary. The jungle glowed softly in the dark, the plants and creatures casting gentle lights across the ground. Alara led Alex to a platform where glowing vines hung like curtains. Rest here, she said. Tomorrow, we will explore the crystals further. There is much to show you. Alex lay down, staring at the soft glow. He thought about the strange journey that had led him here, to a world so far from Earth and to an alien woman who cried when she said his name. He realized that humanity's strength was not only in science, weapons, or technology. It was in the courage to connect, to care, and to bring hope. He drifted to sleep with one thought in his mind. This was the beginning of something greater. Not just exploration, but understanding. Not just survival, but connection. The simple repetition of his name had opened a door to a world of memory, emotion, and possibility he had never imagined. Alara sat quietly near the crystals, whispering his name again, softly and reverently. Alex, Alex, she said as tears ran down her cheeks. Each time she spoke it, the word seemed to carry memory, loss, and hope all at once. And somewhere deep in her heart, she knew that with him, her people might finally step out of the shadows and embrace a future that had seemed impossible. And as the stars rose above the glowing jungle, Alex and Ilara slept under the same soft light, each carrying the promise of discovery, trust, and the bond that had begun with the simple, powerful repetition of a name. The morning sun rose over the jungle, casting long golden rays through the thick canopy. Alex and Ilara moved carefully along the winding paths, their footsteps soft on the glowing moss. The air was filled with the scent of flowers and the hum of the forest. Even in this beauty, Alex could feel tension in the air. Something was coming. Ilara led him to a clearing where the trees formed a natural circle. In the center was a pool of water, so clear it reflected the sky perfectly. She knelt by the edge, her fingers tracing the surface, sending tiny ripples across it. "The pool remembers," she whispered. "It shows visions of the past and warnings of the future." Alex knelt beside her, watching. "Warnings of the future?" he asked. "Yes," she said. "Not always clear, but sometimes danger approaches. My people have seen it before. You must always be ready." Alex nodded. His hand went instinctively to his utility belt, checking the small tools and devices he carried. He had faced many dangers in space, but this was different. This world was alive and the threats were unpredictable. Suddenly, the water began to ripple violently. Shapes formed beneath the surface, dark, shadowy figures moving through the jungle. Alex felt a chill run down his spine. "What is that?" he asked, standing quickly. Ilara's face darkened. "It is a faction from the north. They do not welcome outsiders. They fear humans. They will try to stop us." Alex's mind raced. He had expected exploration to be dangerous, but now the threat was immediate. He looked at Ilara. "We need a plan. We can't fight them alone, but maybe we can outsmart them." Ilara nodded. "I trust you, Alex. Humans, you think differently. You see things we cannot. Perhaps you can save us." Alex felt a strange mixture of fear and determination. He had never been called a savior, but he knew that courage often meant standing when others could not. "We will protect your people," he said. "I will not let them harm you." The sounds came first, low rhythmic footsteps moving through the jungle. Shadows darted between the trees. Alex and Ilara took cover behind thick vines, observing the approaching figures. They were humanoid like Ilara's people, but their skin was darker and their eyes cold. Each carried weapons that glowed faintly, pulsating with energy. "They will attack if they see us," Ilara whispered. "We must be clever." "We cannot fight them head-on," Alex nodded. He scanned the area quickly, searching for ways to use the environment to their advantage. He noticed vines that could be pulled to create traps, moss that could dampen sound, and pools of water that could reflect light and distract the enemies. Humans were small, yes, but clever and resourceful. "Follow my lead," he said. "We will lure them here, and the forest will help us." They moved silently through the jungle, setting simple traps and creating false paths. Alex showed Ilara how to use light and shadow to confuse their pursuers. She watched closely, learning quickly, her confidence growing with each small success. As the first wave of attackers entered the clearing, Alex triggered a trap. A vine snapped, sending a net over two of the intruders. The others hesitated, confused by the sudden movement. Ilara used the distraction to lead Alex toward a small ridge overlooking the attackers. From this vantage point, they could see the entire clearing. Alex whispered, "We need to make them think the forest itself is against them." He touched a crystal on his belt, activating a small device that amplified the natural sounds of the jungle. Cracking branches, rustling leaves, and glowing eyes appeared all around the attackers. The invaders froze. Whispers of fear spread among them as the forest seemed to come alive. Alex smiled faintly. "They are scared of what they cannot understand. That's human ingenuity, and a little luck." Ilara looked at him in amazement. "You are clever. I have never seen such strategy." The attackers regrouped, but Alex and Ilara were ready. They created illusions with reflections from the pool and glowing crystals. Shadows moved where there were none, confusing the enemies further. Slowly, the attackers began to retreat, unsure of what was real. When the last of them disappeared into the jungle, Ilara exhaled deeply. You saved us," she whispered. Tears filled her eyes again. I never imagined humans could do this. Alex shook his head. It was not just me, it was us. The forest helped and you learned quickly. Courage, strategy. That is what makes humans special. She looked at him, a mixture of awe and gratitude. You are different, my people, and know we have seen strong beings before. But you inspire hope. That is rare. Alex felt a warmth in his chest. He had trained for danger, yes, but this feeling, being trusted, being seen as a protector, was new and powerful. We will be ready if they come back, he said. And next time, we will be stronger. The day passed slowly after the attackers left. Alex and Alara moved through the jungle, checking traps, studying the paths and preparing for the future. Alara began to teach him about her people's customs, their rituals, and the meanings of the symbols carved into the trees. Alex listened carefully, understanding that knowledge and empathy were as important as any weapon. As night fell, the jungle glowed softly once again. Alex and Alara returned to the sanctuary. She led him to a small platform with glowing crystals arranged like a constellation. These are our stories, she said. Our victories, our losses, our memories, humans. You are different, but now you are part of our story too. Alex knelt beside the crystals, touching one carefully. A vision appeared, a memory of Alara's mother teaching her to speak, to sing, to remember. Alex could feel the love and loss captured in the crystal. He realized that her people's strength came from memory, from caring deeply for one another, and from surviving despite fear and loss. You see why I trust you? Alara asked softly. You understand courage, not just in battle but in heart. That is why I said your name with tears. You carry the strength of humanity. And hope? Alex smiled faintly. It is an honor to help you, Alara. I have learned more from you than I ever imagined. Courage, empathy, memory. These are things humans can share with anyone, anywhere. Alara looked at him, tears in her eyes again, but this time with a gentle smile. Tomorrow, we will explore more of the jungle. There are places no human has seen. There are secrets waiting for us, and perhaps we can find more who remember the past, who need to see hope again. Alex nodded. He knew the journey ahead would be dangerous, but also full of discovery. Humanity's strength was not just in technology or weapons. It was in creativity, courage, and the ability to connect deeply. Here, in this alien world, he could see that in action. As they settled for the night, Alex thought of the attackers and the strange forest that had seemed alive with memory. He realized that every challenge, every danger, was also an opportunity for humans to show their unique abilities and for Alara's people to learn that trust and courage could bridge worlds. Alara whispered his name one more time before they slept. Alex? Alex? The repetition was soft, reverent, and filled with hope. Alex understood then that his presence was more than coincidence. It was a connection that spanned memory, species, and worlds. And as the stars rose above the glowing jungle, the bond between human and alien grew stronger. Danger had come and passed, but trust had been forged in its place. The forest, the crystals, and the memories all seemed to acknowledge it. Humanity's special gift, courage, empathy, and ingenuity, had begun to shine on this distant planet, lighting a path toward understanding, hope, and a future full of possibility. The jungle was quiet that morning, almost too quiet. The soft glow of the plants illuminated the path as Alex and Alara moved deeper into the forest. Birds with bright feathers darted between trees and streams reflected the sky like glass. Yet beneath the beauty, Alex sensed something waiting, something ancient and hidden. Alara led him to a narrow path lined with vines that glowed softly in the dim light. This way, she whispered. Few humans or even our people have walked here. The forest protects what is sacred. Alex followed carefully, taking in the sights around him. The plants seemed to shift slightly as they passed, almost as if the jungle itself was observing them. He marveled at the delicate balance of life, the glowing leaves, the strange insects, and the gentle rustling of unseen creatures. Every step felt purposeful, as if the jungle wanted them to find something important. After a long walk, they reached a clearing. In the center stood an enormous tree, unlike any Alex had ever seen. Its trunk was wide and smooth, and its branches stretched high into the sky, glowing with a soft golden light. Crystals grew along its bark, pulsating gently. Alara approached it with reverence. This is the memory tree, she said softly. It holds the history of my people, all that we have lost and all that we have survived. It remembers everything. If you place your hand on it, you can feel the past. Alex approached slowly, placing his hand on the trunk. A rush of images filled his mind. Visions of Aelara as a child, her family, celebrations, and battles. He saw the destruction that had forced her people into hiding, and the quiet moments of love and hope that had kept them alive. The experience was overwhelming, but it also gave him a deeper understanding of the alien woman and her people. "This is incredible," Alex whispered. "Your people's history? It is alive," Aelara nodded. Tears filled her eyes again, but this time they were not only of sorrow, they were also of wonder. "It is the tree that keeps us strong. We remember so we do not repeat the mistakes of the past, and now you see it too. That is why I trust you, Alex. You understand the value of memory and courage." Alex felt a deep respect for her. Humans were known for their curiosity and problem-solving. But this was different. This was about empathy, connection, and the courage to honor history. "Your people are remarkable," he said. "Not just for surviving, but for remembering and caring so deeply." I am honored to see this," Aelara smiled faintly. "There is more to see. The memory tree is only the beginning. The jungle has secrets that even our elders rarely reveal. We must be careful, but we must also learn." They spent the morning exploring around the tree, discovering smaller crystals embedded in rocks and roots. Each crystal contained visions, small moments of family life, moments of courage, and lessons from the past. Alex touched one and saw a young Aelara learning to run, laugh, and speak her mother's words. He felt the warmth of her family's love, even across species. As they walked, they noticed subtle movements in the jungle. Shadows shifted between trees and faint sounds echoed from the distance. Alex tensed. "Do you hear that?" he asked. Aelara nodded. "Yes, sometimes the jungle warns us, but not all who come are enemies. We must watch carefully and be ready for anything." Hours passed and they finally reached a hidden cave. Its entrance was covered by glowing vines, making it almost invisible. "This cave leads to the heart of the forest," Aelara explained. "It is sacred. Only a few have entered. It holds knowledge of our ancestors and the places we once called home." Alex followed her inside. The cave walls glowed with ancient symbols, telling stories of battles, alliances, and moments of great courage. Crystals lined the floor and ceiling, reflecting light in patterns that seemed to move. It was both beautiful and overwhelming. "This place," Alex whispered. "It feels alive. Like it is watching us," Aelara nodded. "It is. The heart of the forest is not just a place. It is a guardian, a teacher, and a witness. It remembers all who come here, all who have lived and all who will live. It will guide us if we listen." They moved deeper into the cave, following the glowing symbols. Aelara paused at a large crystal embedded in the wall. "This crystal, it holds the vision of the first human who came to our world long ago. Your people have always been connected to ours, though few remember. Perhaps this is why your name carries power for me." Alex reached out, touching the crystal. A vision filled his mind. A human explorer arriving on this world centuries ago, helping Aelara's ancestors in a time of need. He saw courage, empathy, and hope bridging the gap between species. The realization struck him deeply. Humanity had been part of this world's history long before him. "So, humans have been here before," Alex whispered. "Our actions, our choices. They echo across time," Aelara nodded. "Yes, that is why I felt your name. It is not coincidence. You are part of a legacy of hope and courage. You carry the spirit of those who came before." They spent hours in the cave, exploring visions and learning lessons from the past. Alex felt a deep connection not only to Aelara, but to the history of her people and their world. He realized that the jungle, the crystals, and the memory tree were all part of a living, breathing system of knowledge and care. As they prepared to leave, a sudden sound echoed through the cave. Footsteps, heavier this time, approached from the entrance. Alex and Aelara exchanged a glance. "They are back," she whispered. "The faction from the north. They have followed us." Alex's heart raced, but he remained calm. "We can face them," he said. "We know the jungle. We know the traps. We know how to use what we have learned." Aelara nodded, her resolve strengthening. "Yes, we are ready. Together." They moved quietly toward the cave entrance, positioning themselves strategically. Alex adjusted his devices, ready to use light, reflection, and sound to create distractions. Aelara touched the vines at the entrance, sending them to shift slightly and block part of the path. When the faction arrived, They froze at the sight of the glowing cave and the crystals inside. Alex triggered a reflection, creating multiple images of themselves and Alara. The intruders hesitated, unsure which way to go. The jungle seemed to respond, sending rustling sounds and glowing eyes to confuse them further. Alara whispered, "The jungle protects us." "As it always has," Alex nodded. "And we protect each other. That is what humans do best." Slowly, the faction retreated, realizing that the jungle and its guardians were stronger than they had anticipated. Alex and Alara watched silently, knowing that this was not the end, but it was a victory. As the intruders disappeared into the jungle, Alara turned to Alex, tears glistened in her eyes, but they were mixed with relief and admiration. You are extraordinary, not just for fighting, but for seeing, understanding, and connecting. You are human, and yet, you are part of our world now." Alex smiled faintly. "We are all connected, Alara. Humans, aliens, and this world itself. Courage, empathy, and hope. They are the same everywhere." As night fell over the glowing jungle, they returned to the sanctuary. The memory tree shimmered in the distance, and the jungle pulsed softly with life. Alex knew that the challenges were not over, but he also knew that humanity's special qualities, creativity, courage, and empathy, had made a difference here. Alara whispered his name once more, softly and reverently. "Alex. Alex." It was filled with memory, hope, and trust. Alex understood that their bond had grown stronger with every challenge, every shared story, and every act of courage. And as the stars rose above the jungle, Alex and Alara rested, knowing that tomorrow would bring new discoveries, new dangers, and new opportunities to show the strength of humans and the power of connection. The jungle seemed unusually still that morning. Alex and Alara moved carefully along the glowing paths, their senses alert to every sound and movement. They had explored much of the forest now, learning its secrets, understanding its memory, and discovering the ancient bonds between humans and Alara's people. Yet something deep in the jungle called to them, a sense of finality that neither had felt before. Alara led Alex to a hidden valley at the heart of the jungle. The valley opened into a wide clearing, where the sunlight fell in golden beams, illuminating a series of large crystal formations. Each one pulsed gently, reflecting memories and emotions stored for centuries. Alara stepped forward with reverence. "This is the heart of memory," she said softly. "It holds the most sacred memories of my people. Only those who are trusted may enter fully. Today, you will see why your presence here matters." Alex felt a mixture of awe and anticipation. He had seen incredible sights on Earth and in space, but nothing like this. The crystals seemed to breathe, glowing brighter as they sensed the two of them. He could feel the history of a civilization that had survived war, loss, and isolation, and now humanity's role was intertwined with their story. Alara touched one of the largest crystals, and a wave of images flooded the clearing. Alex saw generations of her people. Families gathering, warriors training, children laughing, and elders teaching lessons of courage and memory. He saw the devastation of war, the skies burning, homes lost, and families torn apart. But he also saw hope, small acts of bravery, care, and compassion that had kept the people alive. "These memories," Alex whispered, "they're incredible and heartbreaking, but also inspiring." Alara nodded. "Yes, our history is filled with sorrow and joy, but we survived because we remembered and because we had courage, and now, because you are here, perhaps we can step into a new chapter." Alex looked at her, understanding her meaning. Humanity had the unique ability to connect, to empathize, and to act with courage even in the face of fear. This bond, between human and alien, was not just a chance encounter. It was the continuation of hope across worlds. Suddenly, the ground trembled slightly. Alex instinctively moved forward, scanning the clearing. From the edges of the valley, the faction from the north appeared once more. This time they were larger in number, determined to reclaim or destroy whatever they thought threatened them. "They've come again," Alara whispered. This time, it may be worse. Alex felt no fear. Instead, he felt resolve. "We've faced them before. We know the jungle. We know the crystals. We can protect this place and your people." Alara nodded, her eyes shining with trust. Together they moved among the crystals, positioning themselves strategically. Alex used reflections and light from the glowing stones to create illusions, making it appear as if there were more of them than there really were. Alara used the vines and natural formations of the valley to guide and mislead the attackers. The faction hesitated, confused by the movement of shadows and lights. Alex realized that the forest itself was aiding them, responding to courage, trust, and clarity of purpose. He whispered to Alara, "The jungle protects those who protect it, and we are protecting more than just ourselves. We are protecting history, memory, and hope." Alara smiled faintly. "Yes, and we are not alone. We have each other." The battle, if it could be called that, was unlike anything Alex had experienced. There were no loud explosions, no overwhelming destruction. Instead, it was a dance of strategy, courage, and understanding. They guided the faction away from the crystals, creating illusions and using the jungle to their advantage. Slowly, the attackers realized that their strength alone could not overcome the combined will of the jungle. Alara and the humans standing beside her. Finally, the faction retreated, leaving the valley in quiet peace. Alex and Alara stood among the glowing crystals, breathing heavily but unbroken. The jungle hummed softly as if approving their actions. You have done something remarkable," Alara said, her voice trembling. "Not only did you help protect us, you showed them courage, ingenuity, and hope. You are unlike any human I have imagined." Alex shook his head. "It was not just me. It was the forest, the crystals, and you. Courage is strongest when shared, humanity. We survive not just through strength but through connection and empathy." Alara looked at him, tears in her eyes. "That is why I said your name with tears. Alex, your name carries more than just sound. It carries memory, hope, and courage, and now, our people will remember you forever." Alex felt a deep warmth. He had traveled across the galaxy seeking exploration and discovery, but he had found something far greater: trust, connection, and the ability to make a difference in a world that seemed distant and impossible. As they walked among the crystals, Alara touched one that pulsed softly. "Look closely," she said. Alex did, and he saw a vision of the first human who had arrived on this planet long ago. That human had acted with kindness, empathy, and bravery, helping Alara's ancestors survive. Alex realized that the legacy of humanity had reached across centuries and worlds, and now he was part of it. "This is incredible," he whispered. "Our choices, our actions, they echo far beyond what we imagine." Alara nodded. "Yes, and your actions today will be remembered in the hearts of our people. We have seen hope return, and it is because of you." As the sun began to set, casting golden and violet hues across the valley, Alex and Alara sat beside the largest crystal. The jungle glowed softly around them, and the memory tree could be seen in the distance, shimmering like a beacon of light. Alara reached for his hand. "Alex, humans have a gift. Courage, empathy, ingenuity. It is rare, but it can change worlds. I see it in you. And now, you are part of our story." Alex squeezed her hand gently. "And you've shown me something equally remarkable: the power of memory, hope, and trust. Your people have survived because they remembered, cared, and acted with courage. Together, we can do even more." They sat in silence for a while, letting the gentle glow of the crystals wash over them. The jungle whispered softly around them, carrying the stories of the past and the promise of the future. Alara finally spoke again, her voice soft but full of emotion. "Tomorrow, we will share this story with the others. The jungle has allowed us to survive, but now, it is time for the world to know that humans and my people can work together, that courage, empathy, and memory can create a future where both worlds thrive." Alex nodded. "Yes, and humanity will not forget this. We will honor your history, your memory, and your trust." As night fell fully, the jungle glowed like a sea of stars. Alex and Alara looked up at the sky, their hearts full of hope and determination. The stars seemed to twinkle brighter, as if acknowledging the bond between human and alien. Alara whispered his name one last time before they rested. "Alex. Alex." It was a sound full of memory, hope, and promise. Alex understood then that his journey had not only brought him to a distant planet, but it had connected him to a legacy of courage and empathy that transcended time and species. And as they slept beneath the glowing trees and stars, the jungle, the memory tree, and the heart of memory all seemed to watch over them, guardians of a bond forged in trust, courage, and hope. Humanity had arrived not just as explorers, but as friends, protectors, and bearers of light in a world that had waited a long time to remember. The next day would bring new adventures, new discoveries and new opportunities to show that courage and empathy could change worlds. But for now, Alex and Alara rested united in purpose, understanding, and the quiet knowledge that the future was brighter because they faced it together.